Oh, God, no! Dash reeled in horror at the image presented to her. The room was decorated in a typical but twisted Pinkie Pie flair. Colorful streamers of dried entrails danced around the ceiling. Brightly painted skulls of all sizes were stuck on the walls, and organs done up in pastels and filled with helium tied to the back of chairs. All the tables and chairs were made up of bones and flesh of past ponies. Dash cringed at the centerpiece on the table nearest to her. The heads of 4 little foals, their eyes closed, like they were sleeping, wearing party hats made from their own skin. She recognized one of them as Apple Bloom's classmate. Her eyes started back and forth as she gazed at the patchwork banner hanging from the rafters. Made from several pony hides, the words, "Life is a party," was scrawled in red. Dash's attention was stolen by a party horn unfurling and tickling her nose. She saw Pinkie Pie standing in front of her. The party pony was wearing a dress quilted from cutie marks. On her back fluttered 6 Pegasus wings, all different colors. As she skipped in excitement, her necklace of unicorn horns loudly clackled together.
"Like it?"
she asked.
"I made it myself."
Dash pleaded. "Pinkie, please. I'm sorry if I did anything to you. I didn't mean it. Please let me go. I promise I won't tell any pony."
"Oh, Dash, you didn't do anything. It's just your number came up and, well, I don't make the rules. We can't turn back now."
Rainbow Dash was tearing up. How could this be happening?
"Aw, don't be sad, Dash,"
Pinkie said.
"Look, this'll cheer you up. I brought your friend."
Out of seemingly nowhere, Pinkie displayed a blue and yellow painted skull. It was about pony size, but had very defining features. A beak. Dash was freaked out. Is that...
"Hey, Dash, let's hang out together. These ponies are lame-os. Dweebs, dweebs, dweebs,"
Pinkie mimicked.
"I caught her right before she left town. Remember when I left the party for about 20 minutes? That wasn't enough time to play with her, of course. I had to wait till after the party to do that. But boy, am I glad I did. It was so worth for the flavor alone. Griffins taste like 2 animals at once. It's amazing. I know she didn't have numbers like every pony else in Ponyville, but when was I going to get another chance to try Griffin? In hindsight, I probably should have asked where she came from so I could get more, but I forgot. I'll tell you what though, she was quite the fighter. Lasted a long time, which was fun for me. I got a chance to play with some pony, other than a pony and trying new things. It's too bad she had such a potty mouth. She said so much bad stuff. I had to take her tongue out. You know, bad language makes for bad feelings, Dash."
Dash didn't have anything to say. She just sobbed and writhed.
"Well,"
Pinkie said, putting the skull down,
"that's enough reminiscing. It's time to begin."
She picked up a scalpel and walked over to Dash's right flank. Without any flair, she placed the blade an inch above her cutie mark and started a circular cut around it. Her lungs working overtime, Dash shouted in pain and tried desperately to pull away, but the braces held her still. Finishing the incision, Pinkie grabbed the curved skinning knife from the tray. She worked it under the skin, slicing the hide away from the muscle. Dash grounded her teeth as she tearfully watched as her flesh came off. Pinkie then moved to the other side and completed the other flank. Once she was done, Pinkie held up both cutie marks in front of her friend and started waving them like pom-poms. Dash just whimpered. Her thighs burned. Placing the skin down, Pinkie selected a large butcher knife and walked behind Rainbow Dash.
"Hope you don't mind. I think I'm gonna wing it now."
Pinkie laughed. She grabbed the left one and played with it for a second. Then, stretching the wing out, she brought the blade down on the base instantly. Dash screamed and thrashed at her appendage. The movement threw Pinkie Pie's aim. She tried to hit the mark again, but missed wide, and a huge slice in Rainbow Dash's back.
Dash, you gotta stay still or I'm gonna keep missing.
She took another whack at the hit and hit the target. She swung again and again, blood spraying into the air, but realizing she wasn't getting anywhere. The blade just wasn't going through the bone.
I guess I forgot to sharpen it. I'll try something else,
she stated as she tossed the knife over her shoulder, the blade embedding itself into the table. The crying Rainbow Dash heard the sound of a metal box opening and closing.
Got it! Say, Dash, why do they call it a hacksaw? It doesn't hack. Hacking is what you do with a knife. This is a saw. I don't get it.
Pinkie placed the tool over the last attempt. It effortlessly sailed through the bone and skin. The painful feeling of teeth grinding and biting into her made Dash want to vomit. She watched helplessly as her wing flew over her head and landed with a fluff on a table. Pinkie moved to the next and started sawing. Dash didn't struggle this time. She'd given up trying to fight and just cried. The sawing abruptly paused. Pinkie was only halfway done. The wing hung there with only one sliver.
Hey, Dash,
she piped.
Think fast!
Suddenly, she yanked the wing as hard as she could. The bones snapped and the skin held tight. The pull ripped the long flesh down Dash's back to her rump. The unexpected trauma caused her body to seize. She felt the warmth release down her legs as her pelvis tensed up. Dash's loud, unending melody of pain filled the room. Unable to catch her breath, she blacked out. She awoke with a gasp. The stench of her urine filled her mucus-caked nostrils. She saw a very pouty Pinkie Pie removing the adrenaline needle from her chest. Stomping her hooves, the frustrated Pinkie lashed out.
Didn't anybody teach you any manners? It's very rude to fall asleep when somebody invites you over to spend some time with them. How would you like it if I came over to your house and went to sleep? Oh, I'm sorry, Dash. You're boring. I think I'll take a nap. You think I like always doing this by myself? I told you how excited I got when I found out you were next. I was excited to have a friend be with me while I worked, but no. You've gotta be inconsiderate. You know, I thought you were tough. I thought you could handle anything. I've had fowls stand up better than you. Do I have to baby you, huh? Is that what you want me to remember you as? A baby?
She stopped to catch her breath. Dash blinked and softly cried. Her back was on fire. Pinkie then popped something red into her mouth and began to chew. She noticed Dash was staring at her.
What?
She asked.
Oh, this?
Holding up another piece.
Well, while you were asleep, I got a little impatient and helped myself to a sample. I got it from your leg. It's not bad. Want to try some?
Without warning for a response, she shoved the strip of meat into the revolted Rainbow Dash's mouth. She immediately spit it out. Pinkie picked it up.
If you didn't want any, you could have said no.
She then ate the discarded snotty morsel.
It's not like you haven't had it before.
Swallowing, she turned her attention to the small can on the tray. She removed the lid, revealing that it was filled with burning coals. Sitting on top of the fire were several large nails. Dash began to panic again. Pinkie picked up the can and walked over to Dash's left. Carefully picking up a nail and grabbing a hammer, she positioned the spike at the seam between her leg and her hoof. "No! Pinkie, no!" Dash screamed. "No, no!" The hammer came down and the nail punctured under her skin. The white-hot burning was too much. Dash pulled and thrashed at the brace. Her skin rubbed and tore. Pinkie tried to line up another one, but couldn't find her aim. She let out a frustrated grunt. When she pulled the hammer back and took a wild swing, Dash bursted out crying and began to beg. Please stop! Please, please stop! Pinky rolled her eyes. Putting the hammer back down, she walked in front of her friend. She stared pensively at the broken Pegasus. Gilda didn't even cry this much when she stuck a live parasprite down her throat. Pinky thought for a minute about what she had to do next. Then there was a sudden spark of her in her imagination. She grabbed her gear wheel on the rack and laid Rainbow Dash's back on her back. She moved Rainbow Dash's hind legs, bringing the can with her. Pinky picked up the hammer again, and as she drove a searing piece of metal into the bottom of Rainbow Dash's hoof. Dash screamed again. Pinky put one into her other hoof. Next, she located the small generator on the tray. Tying the copper wires to the nails, she gave Dash a wink and flipped the switch. Electricity rocketed through Dash's body. The blue pony reacted immediately. Body seized, muscles struck taut, her hips thrusted skyward, and her eyes rolled back. She let out a deep throat-shredding cry. Pinky giggled and danced in place. She turned up the juice. Dash convulsed uncontrollably. Her bladder emptied once more. After about 5 minutes, Pinky shut off the power. The area smelled of lightly cooked flesh and burnt animal. She put Dash upright again and tried to snap the delirious and drooling pony back to attention.
Dash! Dash! Wake up!
Rainbow Dash managed to give her a modicum of weak acknowledgement. Pinky reached into the medicine bag and produced a large syringe.
All right, time for the last round.
Dash looked at the needle, and Pinky took that as a question as to what it was.
Something to take the pain away, she informed as she walked around Dash's ruined backside. She stuck the needle into the lower part of her spine. Dash flinched. Coming to the front again, she told her friend, In a few minutes, you won't be able to feel anything below your rib cage. Then, you'll be able to stay awake and watch the harvest.
Dash started to cry again. Pinky, she trembled out.
Yeah?
I want to go home. Dash openly sobbed.
Yeah, I can see you wanting to do that, the party pony replied. Sometimes I just want to give up and say, I'm done with this mess, and I go to bed. But you know what? You can't shrug off your responsibilities. Just gotta pull yourself up and meet the challenge head on. That's the only way you're gonna get ahead in life,
Dash cried. Minutes passed and the drug took effect. Dash was numb from her chest to her flank. Aware of this, Pinky approached her with a scalpel. With only a smiling glance to Dash, she made a long cut across her pelvis, just above her crotch. Moving up her body, she drew a similar incision under her ribs. One final cut made down her stomach, connected the first two.
Looks like I got my eye on you, Dash.
With a moist, gooey sound, the new door flapped open. The sight of her own organs and the lack of feeling caused Rainbow Dash's breath to intensify. Pinky sliced open the abdominal sac and grabbed the large intestines, separating it from the rest of the digestive tract and pulling them to form a cavity. Pinky was getting jovial and started making jokes. Dash growled, weaker from the new source of blood loss. Tried to shut her eyes at the comedy act. Pinky was laughing.
Look at me, I'm Rarity,
she said, slinging the tube around her neck and spreading the blood in all directions.
Isn't my new scarf so pretty?
Reaching back in, she cut a smaller intestine off the bowels. Squeezing out the excess excrement, Pinky filled filled it through her teeth and dragged it back and forth.
Dentists say you gotta floss every day, Dash.
Rainbow Dash was barely aware of what was going on anymore. The shock was causing her to fade. Pinkie got disappointed. Driving back into the guts, she ramped up her routine.
Don't go yet, Dash.
She started pulling out the rest of the organs, stopping at each one.
I know, I can be a real paniascus, but you know I'm just kidding with you. You really gotta learn to liver it up. Boy, these jokes are getting bladder. I guess you gotta develop a stomach for them.
She placed the discarded body parts into the bucket, keeping the last one a bit longer.
Oh, bagpipes,
she said, placing the tube in her mouth and the organ on her armpit. A splurt of acid hit her tongue.
Ew! Oh, hey! There's your cupcake, Dash.
Dash didn't hear her. She had slipped from consciousness minutes ago. Pinkie, not satisfied yet, hit her with another adrenaline shot. Dash awoke up for her last time, her heart jumping. Her blood flowed faster and faster. It wouldn't be long now. Pinkie put Dash down on her back and straddled her chest. The scalpel was at ready.
You know, Rainbow Dash, I'm disappointed. I thought you would have lasted longer. I really wanted to spend more time with you before we got here, but I guess it was my fault. I should have taken it a little slower. Oh well. It really was nice knowing you, Dash.
The blade sunk into the blue one's throat and worked its way up to her chin. Coming back down, it circled around her neck. The last thing Dash felt was her skin being cut away from her skull, the metal scraping at her teeth. Then she was gone.